Ayurveda Talk. I am Marie. I am an Ayurvedic health practitioner. And we are here today to talk about the continuing theme of what we should be doing at this time of the year. It's important to talk about because, we live in the West and most of us are not living in a way that is going to create balance and harmony. So we want to always pay attention to what's happening in the environment. What are the elements that are dominating the environment? And it's a little tricky right now because just like we talked about last week, we are in Vata season, winter, but the first part of winter is Vata. So that means ether air is dominating that first part of the winter season. The second part becomes heavier, colder, darker days. So, longer nights. And that means that people start to feel just more dense, more solid. It's when things are cold and icy, think about what that does to you. It causes constriction. It makes you feel stuck and even stagnant. And that is now the energy of kapha. So we are now starting to move into the part of winter that starts to bring in more heaviness and denseness of the earth, of the water element. That's cold, that's solid, that's heavy. And that is why when we get to spring, you gotta do a spring cleanse. It is so important. Even if you're doing just a mild cleanse, it is so important to do one. Okay, so we have been talking about what this time of the year energetically is good for. January 1st happens. We always used to think, oh, you set a New Year's resolution, but the energy of the season does not support that. It does not. It's too cold, too dense, too heavy. So seeds that you're trying to plant are not going to take hold. It can't even get into the ground. It can't even get in there to be able to flourish, right? That's why you do it in the spring. But this time of the year is good for contemplation, going inward, having connection to your inner self. And last week we talked about what we really want to do is look at our lives, what happened this last year, or just our life in general, and start to really contemplate what's working, what's not working. And for most people in the culture that we live in today, we are doing too much. And not only are we doing too much, we are getting too stimulated. So our nervous systems are overstimulated, most people today. And it's constant. We're stimulated by light. We're stimulated by activities. We're stimulated by all of the devices we have. And so the way that we're going to move towards soothing and bringing balance for ourselves at this time of the year is to start paying attention to what are the distractions that we have in our life. So I want to encourage you for the next few weeks, we are going to actually do an active practice of writing down what are my distractions? What is distracting me? And really write it down in your journal. Where am I not showing up? Where am I not present? Am I present with my partner? Am I present when I'm on a Zoom call? And am I present when I'm at work? Am I present when I'm taking care of myself? Where am I letting myself get distracted? And we want to start writing those things down so we could see it. When you write things down, you're actually engaging a different part of the brain. So it's a very healthy exercise to do. So what's distracting you? In other words, keeping you from being present. Once you get that list written, then you want to start eliminating distractions. So what we want to do at this time of the year, instead of adding more to our plate, creating more goals, creating more, I'm going to start working out. I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start adding this, add, add, add. No, we're not adding anything. We're going to be aware of what are the things that are distracting us, what is happening, preventing us from being present. And then you start to eliminate what's not working in my life anymore. What can I let go of? Little things like, oh, I have a habit of, just getting on my phone in the morning, first thing. Maybe that's your habit. A lot of people have that habit. And then you want to eliminate that, because what that does is it actually starts your day setting you up for distraction. You're starting it with distraction. So maybe get up. I actually start my day first thing in the morning. I get up. Well, I have to put my dog out, but first thing in the morning, I actually been trying to get up before I have to put my dog out, and I meditate. That is the first thing I do. I go and I meditate. I have silence and quiet and stillness. And I start my day that way. So what can you do to eliminate things that are not supporting you? So it's a good list to write down. This is when you want to go through your closet, get rid of things that you're not wearing anymore, that you haven't worn for 5-10 years, right? You want to go through, just start going through stuff. Maybe there's people in your life that right now it's not a good fit to hang out with those people, or, there's just things, habits, hobbies that you have right now that are injuring you or something like that. Time to let those go. And don't bring anything else in yet. You're going to bring in the spring. We're going to plant our seeds in the spring. Right now, we're letting go. So we start to open our space up for something new, for new beginnings, for new seeds to be planted. And so that is the whole goal, is right now, go inward, really connect with yourself, have a real conversation with, I'm finding that, and we all have stuff, you guys, we all have stuff. So what is your stuff? Where does your insecurities show up? All right, everybody has them. What happens when there's conflict? How are you dealing with it? Are you dealing with it in a healthy way? Right? Can you do things in a way that is healthier for you, is healthier for your family, is healthier for your home? All right. So that is what we're talking about. And I want to just give you one little thing that we talk about in Ayurveda that's really important. We have this tendency, especially if you're a Pitta individual, right? You got a lot of fire, you like goals, you like to get things done. So, but we have this concept in Ayurveda of taking things slowly, being more gradual. And the reason why we want to do that is because we want whatever we're doing that is creating this new beginning, we want it to stick. So if we're letting go of things that aren't working anymore, we want to be able to let them go and not pick up those bad habits anymore, right? So we want to let them go and release them, be done with them. And in order to do that, you want to really think about how Ayurveda moves through things. So that's why you write the list and you deal with one thing at a time. So I want you to think about an attic that you have, like maybe your grandparents have an older house and they have an actual attic. So you go into the attic and that's where all your stuff is, your grandparents' stuff, your parents' stuff. You've got all the heirlooms, everything is there. The chairs that you don't use anymore. And your attic or your basement maybe is just loaded with stuff. It's just loaded with stuff from the floor to the ceiling. What we tend to do in the West is we go, oh, we're just going to go for it and clean everything up and deal with it. And so we go up into the attic or down into the basement or the garage and we pull everything out and we put it in our actual living space. How would that feel? It would be absolutely overwhelming. You would not be able to walk into your own home. So that's what I mean by just get the list, be aware of what it is that isn't working, and then start slowly to deal with one thing at a time. So instead of going up into the attic or down into the basement or into your garage and dealing with everything, you deal with one thing at a time. So you pull out one box and you go through that one box and you deal with it. It's done. And then you deal with another box or another thing that needs to be gone through. And you start to clear out slowly. But as if we do this process a little bit more gradually, it will stick. Those habits can then stick. And that's what we want to do in Ayurveda, is really encourage positive change that stays with us. So you don't expect my whole life is going to be changed in 1 month. No, what we want you to do is look back at your life a year from now and look at the fact that you eliminated all these things, which created something new for yourself in your life that was positive, but you did it gradually, little by little. Don't be in a hurry. Don't be in a hurry. I get a lot of people, they just want me to give them all the information and they're just going to go for it, right? Because when you come in and you get an Ayurvedic consultation, I give you a report. You get everything, every issue that you have that you're dealing with that you tell me about. I research it and then I go into, okay, here's how Ayurveda deals with it. Here's formulations, blah, blah, blah. But if you were to take that report and try to implement all of it at the same time, it's not successful. I haven't had anybody that's successful doing it that way. You want to do it gradually. That's why I always encourage people, you need to keep coming back. I'm here to support you. I really am like a coach. So we go through it little by little and we deal with one thing at a time. Okay? All right. So that is what we're dealing with today. You are going to write a list of what's distracting you. And then you're going to slowly start eliminating those distractions. Okay? It's very good for Vata if you're dealing with a lot of Vata right now. And it's also good for Kapha, right? It's good for Vata because Vata gets distracted. They get moving too much. They're always doing this and doing that. And so you start eliminating things, then it releases the overwhelm for Vata. Why is it good for Kapha? Because Kapha's totally different elements, earth and water. It's good for Kapha because you're lightening things. You take away stuff, and now all of a sudden, that heaviness and density that you might be dealing with, stagnation, it lightens. And so it's really good for all of the different aspects of winter, whether we're in the Vata part of it or the Kapha part of it, right? We're now in we're moving into Kapha now. Cold, heavy, dense. Okay, all right. Just you guys, so you know, remember, whatever elements are that we're dealing with in the winter, cold, dense, hard, you want to do the opposite, right? So if you are using, like say you live where we are in the mountains, you want to make sure if you have a humidifier going, because it's a dry climate here, it's a warm mist, not cold. Get cold completely out of your atmosphere and your diet. No ice, no ice cream, none of that, because it is cold and dense, just like outside. And you're going to create congestion and more stagnation. Okay, so that's our talk for tonight. We're going to, and next week, we're going to add to this how we can continue to eliminate and let go of things that aren't working. So we're literally creating a process for ourselves so that as we get into spring, it's going to be a snap to do that spring cleanse. I really want you guys to be successful in that. Okay, so as usual, if you have any questions, reach out to me.